Hi, everyone. We're the WGS 499 Capstone, and this is an organizational plan of our semester-long Capstone project. So we set up a table of contents for our presentation. We're going to start with a project overview, which includes the mission statement, the topic proposal, and some of our key steps. And then we'll go into committee breakdowns, where we'll go over our different committees, including an event overview, and then we will wrap up the presentation. So as a capstone, the following is our mission statement. The TCNJ WGS 499 Activism Capstone resolves to promote racial justice within the campus community. The college, like the nation itself, has a complicated history with race. By virtue of its proximity to Trenton and Ewing, two communities of color, TCNJ advertises a diverse, equitable, and inclusive campus. However, the college's relationship with these communities has been criticized as paternalistic, and its commitment to students of color has largely proved hollow. We strongly urge TCNJ's administration to implement a zero-credit anti-racist education component for all first-year and transfer students within the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. To comply with pandemic-era restrictions, our Capstone's campaign for the anti-racist education component has been executed entirely online. Despite our inability to connect with the campus community and administration in person, we remain committed to our anti-racism objectives. We hope to meaningfully contribute to the campus conversation surrounding race and commit both TCNJ administration and the student body to anti-racism. Our activism capstone seeks to establish an anti-racist education requirement for first-year and transfer students at the College of New Jersey. We propose the School of Humanities and Social Sciences implement a zero-credit anti-racist education course for its first-year and transfer students. In organization and implementation, the anti-racist component should resemble the existing zero-credit requirement for first-year and transfer HSS students, HSS 99, Orientation to Humanities and Social Sciences.
So some of the key steps in developing our project, we undertook the following. We conducted necessary research on existing TCNJ anti-racist policy and activism efforts, financial frameworks, and sample curriculum for our final proposal. We organized 3 interactive diversity, equity, inclusion workshop events to advertise our campaign efforts. We collected research on students' current understandings of privilege and oppression, engage overall campus interest in an anti-racist education component. We also developed social media accounts to schedule for all programming and policy efforts to help publicize our capstone's agenda. And we published our semester-long policy research and campaign efforts in a website format to share with the campus community, our target audience, and other constituents.
Now we're going to move over into committee breakdowns.
Hi, everyone. So we are the programming committee, and we are responsible for conducting the 3 events that we've had throughout the semester. And through these events, we have gained a lot of our research. So members of our committee include April Kibalo, Genesis Vasquez-Peralta, Gabriella Setti, and Nicollette Simon. So an overview of the committee. The programming committee is responsible for conducting events for the TCNJ community as a form of research. Through this role, the committee facilitated an event known as Archie Bunker's Neighborhood, which aims to educate the campus community on the effects of racism and other forms of discrimination on various groups. The committee collected data from event participants to further our capstone goals.
So the workshop that we decided to host is called Who's in Your Neighborhood? The purpose of this activity was to get the students to understand the effects of the stereotypes and discrimination that are happening on various groups. The outcomes of this was by actively participating in this activity, the students will experience discrimination in some groups and then recognize oppressive systems in the government, housing, law enforcement, and other institutions. And then our mission at the end is to show how it connects, how this activity connects to our mission in promoting racial justice within the campus community. And then here we just have a screenshot of some of the events that we hosted. We did one with Women in Learning and Leadership, another one with Student Government, and another one with a social justice class.
So here are some results from our events. We sent out a survey. with to all participants, and here's a breakdown of the results across all 3 surveys. So we found that 63% of respondents reported never having participated in a DEI workshop prior to this Capstone's event. And then on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being very poor, 5 being very good, 53% of respondents ranked TCNJ's commitment to DEI as a 3. And on a scale of 1 to 5 again, 47% of respondents ranked their understanding of their services, programs, and offices that TCNJ has dedicated to DEI as a 3.
The survey results continue on this slide. As you can see again, from 1 being very small to 5 being very large, that 42 of the respondents ranked the problem of race on TCNJ's campus as a 4, which is quite high. And 79% of the respondents reported having never personally experienced racism or racial bias at TCNJ, while 75 of the respondents have reported hearing or witnessing other TCNJ students speaking or behaving in a way that indicates racial insensitivity. 61 of the respondents reported having never heard or witnessed TCNJ's faculty or staff speaking or behaving in a way that indicates racial insensitivity. And 81 of the respondents reported to having a solid understanding of what the difference between not racist and anti-race is.
Continuing on, 63% of respondents reported having learned about anti-racism in their race and ethnicity courses or other DEI training modules. 61% of respondents do not believe that race and ethnicity civic responsibility requirement is sufficient for students to gain a comprehensive understanding of anti-racist practice.
And then as you see at the last couple bullets, that 93 of the respondents believe that TCNJ's campus would benefit from a required anti-racism course. And when we asked the following elements of what they thought was most effective in the communicating topics of racial literacy for students, the following was that 10% of respondents said theory, 25% said student-based discussions, and 65% said interactive activities like the one they participated in prior to taking this survey.
Our next committee is the PR and Social Media Committee, which focused on posting and promoting on our various social media accounts. The committee members are Rebecca Kosty, Nicollette Simon, Hannah Statler, Dani Szul. So an overview of this committee. The PR and Social Media Committee is responsible for promoting events organized by the Programming Committee through various social media platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, the Roar app, etc. This committee is also responsible for communicating to the student body via campus-wide emails and social media with the intention of recruiting students to participate in organized events. Lastly, this committee publicizes the Capstone's project's milestone achievements and events.
So here are just a few samples from our different social media pages, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. These postings just include updates on our project, current news that's going on, an infographic, and anti-racism resources for the public to use.
Now to explain the meaning behind our project name. So the name of our project and that is used on our social medias is Cultivate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. You will see we have all of our social media links tagged. And a description is, as discussed in our mission statement and topic proposal, our activism capstone resolves to promote racial justice within the campus community. Our capstone seeks to establish an anti-racist education requirement for first-year and transfer students at the College of New Jersey. Ultimately, our goal is to cultivate greater social awareness regarding racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we hope that this initiative promotes future activism that will eventually grow to be something larger within the TCNJ community.
So I'm going to be talking about the Website Research and Development Committee, it consists of Asianna Hall and Liz Nemec. So a committee overview, the Website Research and Development Committee is currently in the process of creating a website where users can learn about our project and our proposed policy while also gaining an introductory understanding of how race functions in modern US society. The purpose of the website is to use different mediums like text, videos, and links to external resources that'll educate students on how to commit themselves to being anti-racist both on and off campus. Once it's been peer-reviewed and published, we plan on promoting the website within different academic departments and student organizations. And the website would contain an overview of our Capstone's campaign efforts, including programming, public relations, and our policy work advocating for a mandatory freshman or / transfer unit on anti-racism.
So these are some screenshots from our website. As you can see, this is going to be our homepage with the title of our website and our program. And then at the top, you can see the different tabs. These go into the different topics that are touched on the website. So we have the home, we have a little bit about our project and who we are, and then we have some education, and then we also have action and resources that kind of tie this all together. And so we do talk about the different elements of our project and how this all comes together on our website. So we have our process listed here, and each of these elements will be represented in the website in its final stage. And this is just an example of some of the research that we already talked about, but it will also be published on our website. And lastly, like we mentioned, there's going to be an educational aspect to this website. So there's just going to be some introductory information on these kinds of topics, as well as links to external resources and chances for students to participate in kinds of activism.
All right, so the Policy Research and Development Committee was myself, Gabby, and the lovely Miranda. So our committee overview is that basically the Policy Research and Development Committee is responsible for researching existing TCNJ anti-racist policies, as well as identifying potential financial frameworks for policy implementation and exploring the sample curriculum for an anti-racist education course. This research was used to develop a policy pack that will be published on the project website at the end of the term. And so throughout this process, the committee accomplished the following tasks. We conducted informational interviews with members of the HSS Anti-Black Racism Task Force, and we determined and assigned research topics for individual research assignments, and we compiled resources to create a sample anti-racist curriculum.
Thank you so much for watching our presentation. Like we mentioned earlier, or Liz mentioned, our website is still a work in progress, but be sure to follow our social media and you'll see when the website goes live. Enjoy the rest of the presentations.